You likely assume the voice in your head is anchored to a solid, permanent object, a physical anchor resting inside your skull. But as physics zooms in on that hardware, the qualities we use to define the self start to disappear. In the early 20th century, Ernest Rutherford discovered that the atoms making up our solid world are almost entirely empty space. The brain is less of a solid mass and more of a collection of ghosts. Protons and electrons don't think. They don't hold memories or feel the weight of a decision. They are simply the inert debris of the universe. Because your brain is built from these empty, indifferent parts, the biological concept of life eventually fails at the atomic scale. At this resolution, your mind is a silent void of dead, unthinking matter. If every base component in your head is dead dust, at what specific point does the system wake up and become you? This is an emergent property, a specific trait that only exists when billions of dead parts form a massive, synchronized macro network. Zoom in on that network even slightly, and the consciousness dissolves. The self vanishes, leaving behind only the static components. Your identity is a fragile, temporary biological glitch, a result of the system's scale rather than a physical object you can hold. Physicist Max Tegmark notes that we are literally food rearranged. The atoms you ate for lunch are now the atoms currently hallucinating your existence. This illustrates substrate independence, the principle that the data of a mind doesn't care about the hardware it runs on. The pattern matters, the material doesn't. We used to believe high-level intelligence was a unique byproduct of biological flesh. Peak human thought was the gold standard. Then a machine built of dead metal and silicon performed the same logic, proving that complex thought is independent of its substrate. If consciousness is substrate independent, you are just a piece of mathematical software executing on a network of wet carbon. But if the brain is just a biological computer, why does the code feel alive? This is the hard problem of consciousness. We can map the wires, but we can't find the observer. We can precisely measure the electrical signals in your synapses, but there is no way to quantify your subjective inner life. Humans possess reflective consciousness, the unique ability to turn our awareness inward and ask where we came from. This awareness defies mechanistic logic. It is an unexplained rupture in an otherwise predictable clockwork universe. Physics suggests there is no permanent soul particle, no you at the center of the vacuum. Instead, your brain continuously integrates and filters a chaotic stream of raw sensory data. Your brain builds a predictive model, a confirmed hallucination, that creates a stable, solid world where none actually exists. This model masks the underlying chaos of quantum particles and empty space, just to keep the organism alive. The feeling of being a continuous, permanent self is a survival illusion, projected by dead matter to keep itself organized. Your identity requires the maintenance of a very specific, low-entropy structural pattern. But the universe has an unbreakable tendency to degrade order. It wants to pull that pattern back into random disorder. If your specific structural arrangement shifts or loses its order for even a second, the illusion of you instantly evaporates. You are a temporary mathematical pattern of dead atoms, hallucinating that it is alive before returning to the void.